there's a fate worse than death, and it's called humiliation and slavery for the rest of your life. So, you know, an honorable man dies but one death, a coward dies 1,000 times. Because do you want to wake up in a world like them Irish people were living for hundreds of years at one point, with the English kings telling them, we're going to fuck your wife today, right? So you're going to sit there with your wife and child and then give off your wife to go out the door and be fucked by some low-life scum and maybe given some horrible disease because the royal scum are disease-ridden. So now you got your wife coming back. Once that happens, right, like they tell the story about the Rambo in Afghanistan, the troops came and bombed his house and killed his wife and children. He goes, for the rest of my life, I'm doing nothing but killing infidels. That's it. Nothing left. Nothing to do here. I ain't going to go get another wife and another set of children for you to slave them up and kill them and humiliate me and torture me. I had nothing left to live for. So until this stops, we're going to war and we're not stopping metaphysically. I'm not going to say physically, but obviously with them, it was physically. So they tell stories about this Afghan guy who would work with the U.S. troops, who they call him Rambo, because all the U.S. troops are sitting there doing their tactics, and he goes, fuck it, loads up, runs out, and starts whacking people. And they go, Rambo, you can't do that. That's against Geneva Convention. And he goes, bro, they killed my whole family. He's walking up to people with a sidearm, putting a bullet in their head when they're on the ground, and somehow getting back to town every day. They don't know how. They go, how's this guy run out into bullets, killing these motherfuckers, doing shit nobody else is doing, and getting back to town every fucking day faithfully, right? Because he's serving something outside of himself. And because there's such a thing as repentance or redemption or, I guess, resolution. And that's how it's resolved. You got a bunch of predator, evil scum who want to come in and harm women and children and be unrepentant. Well, somebody's got to resolve that. That's how that works. So, you know, you have to wonder, do you pay a higher karmic debt for letting women and children be killed and be slaved by these scum, including yourself, and not stand for what's true and what's right? Or going up against them and at sometimes being caught up in the fog of war? That's what the fuck happens, right? I don't know how the God of creation would look at that once it comes to that point. I would think that you want to stay away from that as much as possible. But I guess there comes a point where you say, what else are we going to do? There's nowhere else to run. They're trying to take our soul and our whole way of beingness. So we got to be ready to die or kill to stop it. It doesn't, it maybe that is the whole big trick, is this whole thing just gets us in a position where we become just like it no matter what. But I don't see it that way. Because again, I guess what I'm told or what I feel inside myself, or a little bit of both, is when a man has to kill for what's true and what's right, he don't lose sleep at night. When a man has to kill doing wrong, he sees them people over and over again in his mind, right? And then there's a fine line. If you're on the battlefield and you knock one of these slaves down who's shooting at you, and then you go over and you bash his brains in, you're going to deal with that more than if you just say, the slave is down, leave him the fuck alone, right? Kick his weapon away, let him sit there, whatever's going to happen, happens. You know, if he can get away and survive, then whatever. Because they'll say on the military battlefield, well, if he gets away, he's going to go put a bomb in something and kill 10 of our guys later. There's certain fair play and rules to this shit, and there's certain level of humbleness and humility and compassion, if you want to call it that, even though it's with passion, right? Even on the war field, as far as I'm concerned, and I would think most people. But, you know, then some folks say there's no rules, really, when it comes to war and love, as they say. But, yeah, I don't think that way. You know, you're going to throw bullets at me, I might have to throw them back. If I see that you're disabled and I could get away, I'm going to get away and move on.